coming in. I'm thankful to Suhaib Saab who is here. Amna Chandna is MBA student. Zarish, गौर से सुने बात, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात करने लगा। 1920 में 1920 में अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी की जो ग्रेजुएशन सेरेमनी हुई है 20 या 22 में, उसको जो चीफ गेस्ट थी ना जी सुहैब साहब, वो खातून थी। Can you imagine in 1922 the chief guest of the only Muslim university is a woman and she is the queen of Bhopal, और वाली भोपाल हैं, उनका नाम है जहां आरा वालिया भोपाल, जहां आरा साहिबा और तशरीफ लाती हैं, फुली कवर्ड हैं, पूरे पर्दे में हैं, 100%, आंखें नजर आ रही हैं, और उनकी तकरीर शुरू होती है और वो ये कहती हैं, अरे अलीगढ़ के तुलबा, अरे अलीगढ़ के तुलबा, तुम यहाँ से आज ग्रेजुएट हो रहे हो और हमने तुम्हें इसलिए नहीं पढ़ाया कि तुम नंबर लो और डिग्रियां लो और सर्टिफिकेट लो, तुम आज इस शम्मा और इस जज्बे के साथ निकलोगे कि सब कॉन्टिनेंट के इंसानों की खिदमत करनी, सब कॉन्टिनेंट की खिदमत करनी है, इनको वैल्यू ऐड करनी है और इल्म और हिकमत और विजडम और दानाई के साथ रहना है। अगली बात जो उन्होंने कही, उन्होंने फरमाया तुम्हारे एक हाथ में साइंस हो, एक हाथ में एक तरफ साइंस और ऑब्जर्वेशन और एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन की स्किल हो, और दूसरे हाथ में इल्म, फलसफा और हिकमत हो, फिलॉसफी और हिकमत हो, और तुम्हारे सर पे कुरान का नूर हो। ये स्पीच मेरे पास लिखे मुख्तार मसूद साहब, हमारे एक मशहूर राइटर है, उनकी किताब है, उस किताब के इक़्तिबासात बता रहा हूँ। और तुम्हारे सर पे कुरान का, अल्लाह का नूर हो जो तुम्हें ये बताए सही और गलत क्या है, और निकल जाओ खिदमत के लिए। और ये खातून पता क्या खूबियां थी में आमना साहिबा, शी वॉज ए हॉर्स राइडर, शी वॉज ए स्विमर, तलवार चलानी आती थी, पिस्तौल चलाना आता था, और कभी गोरों से मुलाकात करनी पड़ती थी तो दस्ताने पहनती थी, क्योंकि स्टेट गेस्ट आते थे तो फिर वो फॉर्मेलिटी पूरी करनी पड़ती थी। और ये बहुत सारा पैसा इस खातून ने एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस को दिया। तो साहिब सलीम भाई, हमारा दर्द ये है कि अकाउंटिंग पढ़ाने से और लॉ पढ़ाने से क्या होगा? कुछ भी नहीं होगा। अकाउंटिंग एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप पढ़ाने से क्या होगा? कुछ भी नहीं होगा। वो 1000 रुपये कमाता था 10,000 कमा लेगा। एंड ये इम्पोर्टेंट, हम ये जब पूछते हैं कि पाकिस्तान के हर बंदे की सैलरी $2000 कर दें तो आमना साहबा क्या ख्याल है, पाकिस्तान के हालात ठीक हो जाएंगे? Everybody is getting a minimum of 2000 USD.
नहीं सर, आई डोंट थिंक सो।
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल सही फरमाया। ये वेस्ट की मिथ थी कि जनाब पैसा मसलों का हल है। अरे वो $2000 वाले जो है ना वो खर्चे बढ़ा लेंगे। मेरे पास IB की स्टूडेंट आई MBA, मतलब 15 साल पहले, तो 15 साल जॉब में है, कुछ अर्सा पहले आई, तो कहने लगी कि हमारा गुजारा ही नहीं हो रहा। मैंने कहा है क्यों नहीं गुजारा? कहती सर वो मैं स्टैंडर्ड चार्टर्ड में हूँ, 6 लाख रुपया तनख्वाह महीने की, गुजारा नहीं हो रहा। तो गुजारा क्यों नहीं हो रहा? क्योंकि वो जो पर्स पे मैम ने पकड़ा था ना, वो पर्स ही 2 लाख रुपए का था। उससे पहले मुझे पता नहीं था, उसने ब्रांड बताया मुझे, ब्रांड का नाम, तो मुझे पता नहीं था कि ये 2 लाख का पर्स भी होता है। जी आमना, आपको शायद पता हो 2 लाख के पर्स होते हैं ना। फिर मैंने इंटरनेट पे देखा तो
जी
वाकई
सर।
2 लाख के पर्स है ना, 2 लाख वाले पर्स।
जी सर।
2 लाख के 2 करोड़ के भी होंगे साहब, वो मोती लगा दें उसके ऊपर, सोना लगा दें।
नहीं 2 लाख में तो सर वो आते हैं अब तो, जो आपके ना जो लेस देन डिजाइनर है।
हाँ जी, अच्छा
डिजाइनर है वो तो फिर ज्यादा है।
तो मेरे प्यारे साथियों, हाँ जी, हम सॉरी जरा बात शिद्दत वाली, सर रिकॉर्डिंग असल में ना जी, वो आप रिकॉर्डिंग कर लें, वो असल में हम तो गोरों को नकल कर रहे हैं जी। तो सुहैब साहब, इसलिए हम मुस्तनद है गोरों का फरमाया हुआ। तो अब मैं नहीं कह रहा सुहैब भाई, अभी मैं हार्वर्ड गया था, वहां पे ट्रेनिंग के $10,000 स्पेंड करने पड़े, और जो आर्टिकल दिया ना उन्होंने मुझे, उस आर्टिकल में लिखा हुआ था, यानी हार्वर्ड वालों ने जो आर्टिकल दिया ना पढ़ने के लिए, वो आर्टिकल मैं आपको फॉरवर्ड कर दूंगा, लिखा हुआ था बुलडोज डाउन दीज बिजनेस स्कूल्स। सर आप बताएं, आप कहाँ जाएंगे? जो हार्वर्ड का कोर्स पैक था जो 10 दिन का, उसके अंदर जनाब सफेद नमाया तर के आर्टिकल लिखा हुआ था, बुलडोज डाउन दीज बिजनेस स्कूल्स। अरे इनको गिरा दो। तो किसको गिराते हैं सर? कितने को गिराते हैं कराची में? जो मतरूका हो चुकी हो, जो बहुत खतरनाक हो चुकी हो, उसको गिराते हैं ना सर। मतलब वो भी कहाँ गिराते हैं, पाकिस्तान में तो गिराते नहीं है, वो कहते खुद ही गिर जाए यार। मतलब तो वो ये कहते हैं कि ये मैं नहीं कह रहा, वो क्यों कह रहे हैं ऐसा, क्यों मजबूर हो गए गोरा, और एक पाकिस्तानी प्रोफेसर को क्यों नहीं नजर आ रहा, और पाकिस्तान के लोगों को क्यों ये हमें क्यों नहीं, हमने क्यों नहीं कहा, उन्होंने क्यों आर्टिकल लिखा सुहेब भाई, वाई हमारे अकाउंटिंग, फाइनेंस, लॉ, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, मार्केटिंग के प्रोफेसर को क्यों नहीं नजर आ रहा है यार, मतलब वो अपनी दुकान चलाई जा रहे हैं, तो उनको क्यों नजर आ गया गोरों को, उन्होंने क्यों आर्टिकल लिखा। तो वो एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग आर्टिकल है, और एक नहीं, अब से बहुत बड़ी आवाज बन गई है, और वो ये कह रहे हैं कि आप इस प्रोसेस में बैसाखियों वाले लोग पैदा कर रहे हैं, क्रचेस के साथ। ये इंस्टीट्यूशन है कि ऐसे लोग पैदा करता है जो बैसाखियों के सहारे पे चलते हैं, जो असबाब बेमकसद हैं, इनका पर्पस कोई नहीं है, बैसाखियों के सहारे चलते हैं, दे ऑलवेज लुकिंग फॉर पर्क्स। इनको आप मल्टीनेशनल के लिए एक प्रोडक्ट बना के तैयार कर रहे हैं। तो जनाब थैंक यू वेरी मच, 19 people have arrived, so we will not take many but the time. I would like to, I'm thankful to सोहेब सलीम साहब, इनसे हमारा तारफ इस तरह हुआ कि इनके एक भाई, छोटे भाई थे ना सर आपके?
जी जी जी।
इनके छोटे भाई थे, उन्होंने हमारे आईबी में तशरीफ लाए और KSBL से MBA किया हुआ था। उन्होंने कहा कि जनाब मैंने सर पुराने जूते खरीदे हैं, और फुटबॉल के लिए जूते खरीदने थे शिफा साहबा, और वो 10,000 के मिल रहे थे, तो हमें यहाँ पर लंडे की मार्केट में गए तो वो 700-800, 1000, 1200, 1500 का मिल गया। तो हमने वो जूता साफ किया और पहना तो इट वाज वर्किंग फाइन। तो वहां से हमें आइडिया आया क्यों ना हम लंडे के जूते खरीदा करें, इनको सफाई करें, इनको, sorry in English, the people from Thailand are joining in. So my dear friends, what happened was that Shifa, they got those old shoes, they got it cleaned, and they graded. Some of them are A star, B, C, and they classified, they made a website, and they were good in accounting, they were good in database management, and they hired a place, warehouse in CD, and they purchased like maybe 2,000-3,000 shoes and put them together, and the business was up and running. And you know, it was only a matter of time, and BBC or CNN, if I don't remember, one of them made a documentary that how two Pakistani kids started making money out of used shoes. Then they got used shirts, used bags, used belts, and the quality they ensured. If you go to their website khazane.com, sir, chal raha ji abhi Sohaib bhai, is it working? Can you elaborate on that as well, because we have international participants coming in, so I would appreciate you can tell the story and then IP and things related to whatever that comes to your mind. ये थोड़ा सा मैं हाइप क्रिएट कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो बच्चे ना इस वक्त सोकर उठ ये माजरत के साथ ये अभी इनकी सुबह हो रही है, मैं तो that's why I use 5-6 minutes for the warm up. Some of them have computer science students, some of them are accounting and finance, some of them are BBA. And why we did this course, sir Sohaib bhai, this is an international summer school course, and the purpose was that to introduce Memanpan. And what is Memanpan? Memanpan is making enough money out of nothing. Making enough money out of nothing. So this is what we teach, and this is what we try to promote, along with values and a purpose of life. And we are here to serve, we are here to collaborate, we are here to be full of gratitude, compassion, empathy, and do something which is good for this world. And an American professor, Tamara Stan, she's teaching in this course, she's teaching a whole module. She's a Jewish professor, and she's teaching amazing things, sir. So, bhai, wo ye kehti hai ki if you want to open a lemonade stand, you should know where you're getting the lemon, how much did you pay, where was it grown, what was the soil, was it ethical, was it environmental friendly. Throughout the whole value chain, ensure that these things are environmentally, ethically, and socially sustainable. So it was mind-boggling to listen to her videos and her live sessions. So thank you. Welcome, Pavina, Sawadika. So that is a symbol of Swadika in so people will join. There's classes of some of our Bangkok and foreign students are going on, so they will hopefully join. So sorry sir, 10 minute मैंने ले लिए, लेकिन आपको 10 minute extra दे देंगे इंशाल्लाह. Over to my friend Sohaib Salim. He will introduce himself. he will tell the story and he will tell about the Mikhail, urjo beta, get up. Okay, so some gentlemen are sleeping, so they will hopefully get up with your voice, inshallah. वो अम्मी है इनके ना ऑन कर देती हैं कैमरे, इनको उठाना पड़ता है जी. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so I'll start with, so primarily I was called here to teach about law, right? But law is something, I mean, since this is an international summer school, you know, law is not something very international, because a lot of countries have their own legal, like have their entirely different legal systems. But yes, certain countries, like, you know, countries which have been former British colonies, they have a similar legal system, you know. But, you know, business is a common language everywhere, so everybody, you know, the same terminologies and same strategies may be useful across the border internationally. But legal strategies might differ depending on the local laws. So I'll start with the stories that Dr. Saab was telling you about, you know, the venture of Khazane. So Khazane basically means treasure. And the idea basically came about with, you know, selling used stuff online. So a lot of people, like OLX is already there, you know, classified websites are there to sell used stuff. The area that we carved out for ourselves in Khazane was basically, it's like a managed marketplace. I mean, it's technically not a marketplace still, but it's managed shop, you can say, where, you know, used shoes are, we buy used shoes from abroad, we ship them to Pakistan. Mainly we are buying from the US. So these are original used shoes, you know, mainly Nikes and Adidas and Brooks and Saucony, those leading brands of running and athletic shoes. And we get them, and we, you know, sort of have a good, like a big process through which they go through. They are washed, they're cleaned. They are then, you know, inspected, and then the photographs are taken, and then they go up on the website, and then we have our courier partners to deliver them. So payment can be made online, and usually Pakistani mode of preference of payment is cash on delivery. So people can buy the shoes. We have a very extensive return policy, and, you know, that's really, so everything has been optimized, keeping in mind the Pakistani mindset about buying used stuff. So we've got a very relaxed return policy, for example. And the way we positioned Khazane was that we, from the very first day, we had this policy of never selling any replica shoes on it. So no replicas, no nothing of that sort. So, you know, it's based on ensuring that our customers are always, you know, trust us. So the trust is the major factor in this business, and that has, mashallah, led us to phenomenal growth in the last 4-5 years since we founded this company. And the CED played a major role, the Center for Entrepreneurship at IEBA, because this was an idea I think no incubator would have supported apart from CED. CED supported it wholeheartedly. It provided the tremendous space that we needed for warehousing, for, you know, for running the operations, for keeping all these employees, and it was at negligible cost that they supported us. And the support, you know, really was essential in the early days. I think our early days lasted for more than a year or two, right? And all this time we were incubated at CED, and it really helped us to grow phenomenally. So, you know, hats off to Dr. Shahid Qureshi for all the help, and CED especially, and all his team, Mr. Azad in particular. So there is, so this is one startup that I'm part of. I'm one of the co-founders. My brother is the CEO, and his story is that he is an MBA, but he's done like he's worked for a brief period of time, then all that he's done is business. I come from a similar background as well, so I've studied law. I studied law primarily because I was into business from like after my A levels. And in Pakistan, the university is usually full time, and I couldn't go to university on a full time basis. So I I basically got into this University of London external LLB program that is done in the evening. It's one of the only bachelors you can do in the evening. So that was the main point for me to get into law, and I was obviously interested in studying law. Because that is, I think it's you should always go for some skill-based education. That has been my philosophy. So deliberately, I opted for law, and I really enjoyed studying it. But all this time, I was doing my business in the morning. My primary business was, selling polymers, plastic resins, and I was trading online. Long before people actually started selling, these drop shipping type things. But I was selling PET resin in particular. And I've got suppliers in China and Taiwan, and I work as a broker in between and have customers, in like every continent now, mashallah. So that was my main bread and butter business. But once I did my LLB, I got into different. I wanted to try myself out as a lawyer, so I started with different companies as a corporate lawyer, and that was really good learning. I worked in Karachi Electric, which is the electricity utility company in Pakistan, in Karachi, and then Pakistan State Oil, which is the largest oil company. So it really helped me to understand how big businesses operate, because still, this is where I appreciated the difference between the mindset of an entrepreneur and the mindset of the typical management person. And the difference is that an entrepreneur really just, I think he does plan, but he doesn't waste a lot of time in meetings and plannings and presentations. That's not the way how you get into entrepreneurship. You just start off with it. And the management guys, the typical employee mindset is to really spend a lot of time on, like what Dr. Saab was saying. They're after perks and privileges. They're after getting all these different what do you call they'll add a lot of frills to everything. So they'll be like the first thing would be to get the visiting cards printed, or get a very good office space and get a couple of assistants, and then they'll start out thinking of launching the product or the service. They're already too late by that time. And that's really the mindset which a lot of business schools preach here. And I think we should really try to tell people that starting on business doesn't mean having like very beautiful PowerPoint presentations. That's just a lot of companies in the Silicon Valley have now banned PowerPoint presentations for this reason, because it's just sheer waste of time. So you should just get into it, start off, and then you can just pivot around with your business model and your startup model, whatever you have, and then you could really learn from the customers, from the market, and react to it. So let's start with the course. Any questions, Kuyasa? Any questions that you may have at this point?
I wanted to ask something.
Yeah.
So basically, how much time does it take for you guys to, for the business to become stable, the Khazane business you were talking about? And like, how did you reach your first customer? Because as you said, there is OLX as well, and then there is Daraz as well, and there are also people like small vendors as well who export stuff from outside and then sell it here. So like, how did you get the first customer?
So, we started off with simply having a WordPress site. The people who don't have a computer science background might not know of it, but WordPress is a very popular content management system. You can make a website on it, in a day's time or a couple of days' time. So we did that. And then we launched a Facebook campaign, right? And we had no market research to back our idea. We didn't really, we didn't ask a lot of people, will it sell or will it not sell? We just got some inventory. I think the first lot of the shoes that we bought were maybe like 50 or 100 shoes that we bought, right? That didn't cost a lot. So we just got them photographed. We took the photographs not from some hi-fi camera. We just got it on a cell phone camera. We used it. We photographed the shoes from different angles, and we put it on the website. We thought of this name Khazane. It was just we didn't spend a lot of time thinking about the name. I think the logo. Me and my brother both are trained graphic designers, so we come from a graphic designing background as well. So we didn't take a lot of time to even drop that logo. It was just we just made one logo. We just went on with it, and we just got the domain. And it was 3-4 days. We had everything running, and then the first ad campaign was probably 500 rupees per day that we launched. And in the morning we had 3 orders in the cart, right? And then we were thinking about how to deliver them. Simple. So once it got off the ground, 3 orders a day, and then it went to 10 orders a day. Then it, mashallah, went to, probably it's currently a couple of 100 orders a day now, right? So it just grows, and you grow with the business, right? And then you understand, what sort of things your customers are requiring, and what sort of processes you need. So that is what I keep on telling people. I've done a lot of businesses, small, big. I've been part of big companies, right? So I've seen what happens in big boardrooms. I've seen what happens in small shops. So currently I'm also so this might come as a news to a lot of people. So every Friday and Saturday I go to Jodia Bazaar, right? Jodia Bazaar is this market in Karachi, which is the wholesale market. I don't actually go to Jodia Bazaar. I actually go to Lee Market, which is another market within Jodia, within the outskirts of Jodia Bazaar, right? And it's my father-in-law's business. He has a shop there. They sell loose tea, So tea this was a business I was fascinated with, and he was currently struggling with it. So I got into this business as well. So it's really fun now. I go and sit in the shop, and I deal with all sorts of people from different walks of life. They're coming to buy tea and open loose tea. Tea is a very fascinating product. It's you make different blends of tea, and those blends are made from you have these different components. There are different types of tea. You mix them, you package them, and the blend can be sold at quite a premium. Sometimes maybe 200 to 300 rupee kilo per can be a profit. 200, 300 rupees per kilo can be a profit. So that's quite an interesting business. So the thing is, I've seen all these spectrum of businesses, and what I can really say here is that if you want to do any business, just get into it. Start off, which is a lot of people are now theorizing about it. Fail fast and MVP. That's basically the fancy thing for all this. But I think that should be the approach. You just should start off with the business and see how the market reacts. Right? Don't spend a lot of time and money on your designing your logo or visiting card or going after market factories. That's the usual stuff that they teach you in big corporates, right? Or the modern stuff that is going on. And don't so just get into it. I mean, for example, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg, for example, when he launched Facebook, was really concerned about the competition. Was my case. Had he gone into market research, I think he would have shelved the idea of having Facebook, right? So if you have so uniqueness of an idea is not important in my point of view. It's the execution. Your idea may be very similar to what's already out there in the market, but there's still space. Even if you launch a cola drink now, although cola is a very saturated market, a lot of people will tell you, if you execute it properly, you make some customers, right? So nothing, in my personal point of view, is nothing is too saturated to get into. You should just have the passion and you should just have the drive, and you should just carry on. So one of the businesses that I do, like the plastic resin business, it's super saturated. I have to fight with, for example, Reliance India, which is one of the largest oil companies, polymer companies in the world. Then there is Sabic on the other hand. I'm an agent for Taiwanese and Chinese manufacturers, and those guys, at times are unable to compete with the prices. Still, we get some market share. There is always someone who will be willing to do business with you. It's amazing. So you just need to try your luck and get up. Okay. So from that, the legal go-to strategy is what are you able to see my screen? Right?
ये आवाज सही आ रही थी अब्दुल्ला असगर साहब? आवाज ठीक है? मेरी आवाज थोड़ी इधर फट रही थी. Can you hear Dr. Saab, Saib Saab, Professor Saib, everyone? Is it fine?
Yeah. आपकी आवाज तो
ठीक है सर. नहीं, साहब साहब की आवाज ठीक है. Okay, ठीक है. Carry on, sir.
अच्छा, मेरी आवाज. Okay, so what should be your legal go-to strategy, right? So my thing is, if you're a single person, just go with sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is like if you're a one-man show, just start off with your business. In Pakistan, it's fairly easy. In other countries also, it's fairly easy to become a sole proprietorship. It's just it's just opening up a bank account under a business name. Most of the time, that's the only requirement that you need. And for that, opening up that bank account, you hardly need anything. You just need probably a letterhead and an application to the bank manager to open a bank account with that business name. It's not a company; it's just a business. You can just name your business anything you want. So it treats you as the person and your business as the same entity. So there is no separate tax filing for it, for example. And there's this concept that whatever the liability is of your business, the liability is yours eventually. So there is no concept of limitation of liability. This is a concept which is peculiar to companies. Companies are in law separate legal entity. So, for example, if we contrast companies with sole proprietorship, so companies are a separate legal entity. What that basically means is that you are different from your company. You have to pay your tax, your income tax, and your company has to pay its own income tax, right? And there's this concept of shares. You own shares in your company. You can sell those shares. Other people can buy shares in your company. That's the typical when a startup goes or a business becomes big. That's the legal form that you need to adopt, because you need to get in more people to invest in your business. So if an investor is coming and investing in your business, he would want something in return, and that something are the shares that you issue to him of your business. What basically a share is, it's a legal paper, a document which can be bought or sold. Like it's a tradable document, right? So one share basically usually means one vote, and voting rights are the way company then functions. So any major decision is undertaken by getting votes on it. So that is what a shareholder is given as a power in return for his investment. So once you have shareholders in your company, then if you want to change your company's direction from, let's say, producing computers to producing, let's say, clothing, right? So you need to get a shareholder vote on it, and the shareholder vote would depend on how many shareholders you have, and usually a majority of the shareholders need to agree. And there is this whole corporate law framework which basically tells you what is the relationship between the shareholders and the people running the company, the directors, the CEO, the different functionaries, right? So that's something which is very, very structured, which is very, very has a lot of legalities attached to it. Yes, there are a lot of benefits for becoming a company. The foremost benefit is that the company is a going concern. And that what basically means is that even if you leave the company as the founder, the company still survives. The company is not dependent on you as a person. Company is a separate legal entity on its own. The famous case, for example, is is of Steve Jobs leaving Apple, right? Right after he started it, and after some years, he was kicked out of Apple, the company he co-founded, right? So this is something which is the uniqueness, which is the unique point of a company. Now, as opposed to that, sole proprietorships are fairly simple. It's just you, and you are the business, right? And if you are not there, the business doesn't function, right? So you're the key element of the business. But this is for, so my recommendation has always been that once you're starting out, start off as a sole proprietorship, and then later on you can always become a company, right? You can always transform your business into a proper company. And this decision should actually come at a stage when you are really, really sure of your business, when you're sure of, that this is the business that you want to do. So at a sole proprietorship stage, you could always experiment, right? Experiment with the business model, experiment with the MVP, experiment with the product, see how the customer response is, and then you could always decide to become a company, get people to invest in your business, issue them shares, and function like a proper outfit, right? So in between both of these, there is this concept of partnership. Partnership is, it has multiple people. So it's not it's not sole proprietorship. It can have multiple people, but still it's not a company. It's like those people coming together and working under a common banner or a common name, right? So it's still not a company, but it has multiple people. And the basis of this arrangement is a contract, which those partners will sign with each other. And in that contract, they will outline how the partnership is going to function, how decisions will be taken by them, and how the operations will be managed by them. So an agreement will be drafted. This agreement, you can have standard templates from the internet. You can see how these are there. You basically divide your liabilities, your rights, your profit sharing. Everything can be put into that contract, and the partners can sign it, right? So, and again, this is not a company, so it is not thought of as a separate legal entity. It has no separate tax filings. But yes, if the partners are paying their own taxes, then the partnership doesn't need to pay tax. If a partnership pays the tax, the partnership firm pays the tax, then the partners are not required to pay the tax. It's basically the partners and the firm is seen as the same entity, as opposed to company. Company is a separate entity, and the shareholders are separate, directors are separate, right? So if you're more than one person, if you're not a sole proprietor, then starting off as a partnership is my recommendation. Then obviously, once you are done with partnership and now you're ready for the next stage of your business, you could become a company, right? And joint ventures and consortiums is something that you can always enter. Even as a partnership, even as a company, two people can join together, do something. Usually JV company or a consortium is between two companies coming together, right? But this is something that you'll probably do for bigger projects or for bigger businesses later on in your stage as a business. Okay, Ji. Any questions? No questions? Are you able to hear me? Yeah?
Yes, we
sir.
can hear you,
Yes,
sir.
we can. Yes, we
We
can.
can hear you. Okay. So once again, please, everybody there, just a quick second, sir. People have come from Thailand, Ji. So we have Nazrin from Azerbaijan, and we have Aina from Namibia, South Africa. Shahab from Bangkok, mashallah, and a lot of people coming in. So Janab, ठीक है Janab, over to my friend Shoaib Saab, you are so interesting, mashallah, very good articulation, and the interest level is very high. मैं बस नाश्ता के लिए जा रहा हूँ, अगर इजाजत दे दें तो I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so like I said, businesses have this the philosophy should be just to start off very lean and very quickly, right? And the other thing that people usually struggle with in the early days of a business is with intellectual property. They think that you have a very different business idea, and it needs to be protected. There's this concept of, protecting your business idea. So first and foremost, ideas cannot be protected. So that is, you need to get this in your mind that, no matter how brilliant your idea is, you can't get a protection on your idea. So for example, if my idea is to have, let's say the idea is to sell, let's say, what do you call, let's say wristwatches, which can be delivered anywhere in the world, including Mars, right? Out of the world as well, anywhere in the universe, for example. And we've got something which is so out of this, which no one has thought of it. So you can't protect this idea. You can't, write this on a piece of paper and get some sort of legal right over it. So yes, inventions, the process, the way the device, for example, functions, let's say, or if you have something which is unique in the sense that it's a unique song, or it's a unique novel, or it's a unique piece of writing, yes, those things can have their they can be protected. There are different laws in the world which allow you for that protection. But a plain simple idea is nothing. It can't be protected. The only way to protect it is, you can probably sign an agreement with someone that he doesn't share your idea with someone else. Those agreements are called non-disclosure agreements, NDA, and those are not only for ideas, they can be used for anything. So non-disclosure means, whatever I'm telling you, you are not to tell it to anyone else. So that's an agreement between two parties. But still, idea, there is no legal way of protecting just a mere idea. So what can be protected? That is the next question, right? So you can actually there are three things that can be done. Majorly, there are three things in every country, and those are called, one is copyright, the other is trademark, and the third one is a patent. Those are the three things that are the legal ways of protecting some intellectual property. Now, the word intellectual property means that a property which is not physically existing. It is something which is intangible. So it's an intangible property, right? So an intangible property might be something, for example, in copyright, something like an artistic work, a literary work. You've made a painting, you've drawn something, you've made a music video, you've recorded a song, you've made a music tune, right? Those are things which are artistic, which are something which are intangible but yet artistic, right? Or something which is not like something which cannot be, which is something you can't physically protect. So it needs to be protected intellectually. And for that, the copyright law basically means that if you have drawn something, if you have written down a song, if you've written down, let's say, if you have sculpted anything, if you've made a sculpture, if you have made, let's say, a unique design, those things are automatically protected under the copyright law. When I say automatically protected, what basically means is that if you have drawn something, written something, done anything, if you've sculpted anything, automatically the law allows you to have the sole ownership of making copies of those things, of that transcript, of that drawing, of that sculpture. You as the owner, the creator, have the right to make copies of it. No one else has. So for example, if I write something on a piece of paper, that is automatically under my copyright. So my copyright means that I only have the right to make copies of it. So if you're taking notes in the class and you make certain notes, those notes have your copyright on it. Nobody can take those notes away from you without your permission. that is your intellectual property. And nobody can go to a photocopier and get those notes photocopied and start to sell them for, let's say $1 a piece, right? Because you did not give them the authority to make copies of it. So that is what we call copyright. You have the copyright. Now, copyrights can be registered with a government body. And the basic concept of registering a copyright is basically to protect any person from basically disputing your claim that you were the first one to write those notes on a piece of paper, because somebody might have similar notes written to yours, and he might say, I was the one who wrote them originally. You might say, I was the one who wrote them originally. And then the government gets to decide, okay, who wrote them, which of you wrote them first. And that basically depends on which of you got them registered first with them, right? So that's why we have this concept of registration. So copyright can be done on literary works, on artistic works, on cinema works, on record works. These are the things on which you can get copyright. So if you're coming from a software background, you can get copyright on your databases. You can get copyright on your, the data that you have. Now, if that data is as it is copied by someone, he's violating your copyright. Now, the legal way of, basically saving yourself from copyright violation would be simply not to copy anything. Would be to, basically recreate it originally. So if you're recreating something, now recreation is a very difficult area when it comes to copyright, because people might have issues proving how you were the original creator for this. You might say, I got an inspiration from someone. So your painting, your drawing, your sculpture, your logo might be similar to someone's, and yet be violating copyright law, or it may not violate copyright law. This is where lawyers would come in and argue the case. This is where they'll actually prove that how this is not in violation of the copyright law, how your logo is different in styling, or is using different colors, or let's say how your piece of literature that you've written is different, it has a different ending to it, or your movie that you've created, it's not a violation of copyright because the central idea is different, the dialogues being spoken by the actors are different, so that's not a copyright violation, right? So this is how copyright works, right? Any questions on this? Okay, so as starting off in your businesses or as an entrepreneur, you might be concerned with copyright law when it comes to protecting some unique piece of data that you might have, some unique logo that you made, or design that you made, right? But the thing is, like I said, copyright is a very loose sort of a right. Anyone can take an inspiration from your design and recreate his or her own design, and when he or she does that, he or she is not violating your copyright, because they have not really copied exactly what you made. So copyright only protects when you are able to prove that he copied from you. But somebody has, yeah. So is copyright similar to that of patent? No, copyright is different, right? So, and patent is different. We'll come to patent shortly, and then I'll explain how it is different. I'll appreciate if you can ask the questions. Don't ask the questions on chat. You can just ask them directly here. Okay, so now, who's the first owner of copyright? The guy who owns the copyright is basically the person who made that design or who took that photograph. He's the owner of that copyright. So when it comes to another aspect of copyright is that if you're using, for example, in your startup or your business, if you've designed something and you got some people freelancers to design it for you, so some freelancers to write the code for you, or some freelancers to design the website for you. They are the creators of that website, of that design, of that code base. They're the creators of that database. So technically, they are the owners of it. So they need to transfer ownership to you, and for that, a contract needs to be executed between you and that designer or that artist who made that stuff, because he is the legal owner of the copyright, and he needs to sell you his copyright. So now, once you buy the copyright from him, you now have the right to make copies of it, right? You can display your logo anywhere without seeking permission from the designer who first designed that logo. Yeah. Any questions?
Sir,
Yeah.
is it necessary to have a copyright contract? Like when you pay the artist or the designer,
Yeah.
aren't you essentially purchasing the copyright?
So yeah. If that is the understanding you have now, that should be the understanding most of the time. But sometimes, if you that might not be the understandings. For example, the designer might say, this might not happen when you're getting a logo design, but this might surely happen when you're getting someone to write a code, and that person who's writing the code for your software or is designing your website might say, I'm not giving you the copyright, I'm only giving you the permission to use this website for a certain fee. And if I am to sell you the copyright, I'll be charging a higher fee as opposed to the lower fee that I'm charging now. That's how software business works, right? Because they'll be reusing that same code or that same website designs for multiple clients. So they won't want to sell you the copyright to their entire code base or to their entire design catalog. They might just give you on a license. That is the term that we use, that legal term. And license is just a mere permission to use it. So for example, when we buy softwares online, when we buy a Microsoft subscription for MS Office, they are not selling us MS Office. They're only giving us permission to use MS Office. So they've not sold us the software, right? We don't get the code for it. We don't have the right to make copies of it, right? And if somebody makes copies of it, Microsoft does come after them, right? For violation of what? Violation of a copyright, right? Because they never gave you the copyright. They only gave you a permission to use it. So you have to be mindful of what is the bargain that you're getting into, right? If you're clear with your designer that he's just going to make the logo and sell it to you, which is mostly the case, then you might not need a contract for it. But contracts are good to have, right? Because you're doing business. At the end of the day, somebody might, what if you become a famous company and this logo designer comes back and says, oh, look, I never sold you the logo for it. I never charged for it, right? I only made it as a friend for you, and you never paid me, and there is no proof of you making the payment to me, right? So that's where the things can get complicated. Some logos might be very, very, very famous and therefore very expensive, and therefore the company might have to pay the designer who has the original copyright quite a lot of money to get that copyright from him. And that's just simply a piece of paper saying, I hand over you my legal rights to this intellectual property. Right? Now, another thing that is very important is copyrights have a duration. So copyrights are not there for life. Like they're not there forever. That's the best way to put it. So they're usually linked with the life of the author, the artist, the graphic designer, the person who made the movie, the director. So they're linked with the that person's life, or usually for 50 years, right? 50 years is the usual time frame, maybe more. It might be the life of the author plus 50 years. So if the author dies, so the author wrote a novel when he was 30 years of age, he died when he was 90. So throughout his life, he has the copyright for those 60 years. And then 50 years afterwards, the copyright still remains protected. So what that basically means is that after some time, that artistic work, that design, that piece of literature would become public property. And when it becomes public property, what basically it means that anyone can reproduce it, anyone can make copies of it. And this is what is happening with a lot of Sherlock Holmes stuff, right? So the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, probably wrote it like a couple of 100 years back, right? So now the copyright has expired. So now the works are in public domain. Therefore, anyone can make a Sherlock Holmes movie, right? Anyone can use the character Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson, and those people can be used by anyone. There is no copyright claim on them. They are now in public domain. And similarly, a lot of black and white movies can be shown on any TV channel because the copyright has expired. So that's how it works. And this time duration, these things differ from country to country. You need to find out exactly what your country says about the time duration, but generally copyrights expire. That is true for every country. Okay, now trademarks. That's the second one. So trademark literally means the sign of your business, right? It's the sign. It's the mark of your business. It can be any, like as per the definition under our law, it means any unique word, letters, drawing, pictures, shapes, colors, prototype, logotypes, labels, combination used, goods. So that is a trademark. So all these things that you see on my screen. So starting off with the Coca-Cola bottle, the Coca-Cola bottle, the shape of that bottle is registered as a trademark because the shape of that bottle is so iconic now that you might have seen Coca-Cola only using the shape of the bottle and not even writing Coca-Cola most of the time, right? You might have seen those logos where they just write, where they have this white color bottle in between a red background. And so this shape of the design of the bottle is, when it was created, it had a copyright on it. The person who made the design had the copyright. And then this design got so famous that it became the mark of Coca-Cola's business. And so Coca-Cola was able to get a trademark on it. Now, trademark law, as opposed to copyright, offers a much better protection because copyrights, like we discussed, expire. They have a duration, usually 50 years and so on. But trademarks are there for 10-year period, renewable for further 10-year period, right? So you can just keep on renewing a trademark for 10 years, 10 years, 10 years, 10 years. And for example, Coca-Cola might have registered this trademark, the bottle trademark, probably almost 100 years back, right? Or more than that, and still is a registered trademark. Nobody can copy this similar shape, right? So they could have stayed on with the copyright law, but that copyright law was not providing that enough protection. Therefore, they got the trademark registered, right? So trademark can be registered like for anything that you see below. So, Cadbury has the color purple, which is a unique tone of purple, trademarked. So nobody in the food category business can use a similar purple color. It's their mark. It's their business identity now. So you can't have a confectionery company selling chocolates and keep the same purple color. You might use a different logotype for your company name. You might, style your logo in a different way. But if you end up using the same purple color, they'll come after you because it's their trademark, right? Now, for example, BMW, the letters BMW were not unique. They couldn't trademark it, right? So what they got trademark is this design of the logo, right? And similarly, Coca-Cola Coca-Cola has this red color trademark. As far as I know, they've got the logo type trademark. They've got a bottle design trademark. So they're basically what Coca-Cola now is. Coca-Cola is just functioning as a company which has which basically sells its trademark. So if you see the structure of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola hardly has its own factories, right? Factories are managed by some other people who just make the drink as per their standards, as per the standards set out by Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola in the end is only selling its brand name, right? Because it's trademark, it's protected. So in order to get trademark protection, you need to wait a certain period of time. Usually it takes a lot of time. You can right away apply for getting your trademark registered, but again, there's a whole process for it. Every country has a unique process for it. Usually it might take a year to get all the formalities done, and then it is published for the general public. And if somebody has an objection that this trademark is very similar to our trademark, they can come forward and you can fight it out in the court of law, right? And another thing that is also is helpful to know that probably you need to get your trademark registered in every country you are trying to work in, right? So that is another costly affair that you need to undertake. So for example, if Cadbury has not trademarked itself in Pakistan, and even though it is done in England or US or Thailand or any other country, they still need to come and register themselves here. Then only they can, stop any other person from using the same purple color, right? So that's the process that is adopted in law. And finally, you see the logo of Apple. Now, Apple is a very common word. So Apple is something that they couldn't get trademark on. It is not unique. For in order to get trademark, you need to prove it to the government that this is really unique to you, your business. Nobody has the same sign or the same mark for their business, because this is your identity. Nobody else has the same identity. So Apple, the word, was difficult to get a trademark on. So now Apple changed its philosophy. They got the logo so uniquely designed that they have a trademark on their logo. And if you see, Apple, the company, is not using Apple anywhere on its packaging, on your cell phones. It doesn't really use Apple the way Coca-Cola writes its Coca-Cola. It doesn't write Apple anywhere on the phone. It just uses this symbol. So they because this is their trademark, they got registration done on this. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so like trademark, you have got services mark, which is again, can be banks and channels, and anyone can, get services. The design of their logos trademark. Okay, so now it brings us to this question: that are you required to get it registered, the trademark registered? So like copyright, the moment you write something, you get copyright. The moment you make a logo, or the moment the Coca-Cola guys designed that unique bottle, they automatically had a trademark on it the moment they went to the market. But obviously, registration of a trademark with the government authority ensures that nobody disputes your claim to that trademark. So, registration is advisable. It is not mandatory, but it should be done. And it's, again, like I said, it's for 10 years, and after 10 years, you can renew it for further 10 years. Okay, now it brings us, can you just give me a second here? Just hold on. Okay, now, yeah, patents. So patents are basically, so we've got copyright, we've got trademark. Now, for example, imagine that you have invented a new machine. So a new machine, let's say you have invented a projector, right? A projector is a machine which which can be connected to a laptop and can project the screen of that laptop on a bigger on a wall, and really magnify everything that's there on the smaller screens. Projector is your invention. So now you name the projector as the let's say you get it, it's the Epson projector, right? So Epson is the brand name. You'll get, what will you do to protect your brand name? You get it copyright or get it trademarked? Which is better? Anyone?
Patent.
So the brand name you'll get trademarked, right? Because that is the sign or the mark of your business, right? Now, the design of your projector, the outer casing, what will you try to get on it? A copyright or a trademark?
Trademark.
So you'll try for a trademark, but the authorities won't give you a trademark. They'll give you a copyright, because they'll say this is still not a unique, this is not the sign of your business as yet, because your business is kind of new. It will take some time before it becomes the sign of your business, right? So till then you can enjoy a copyright on it. So you'll probably get a copyright on the design features of your projector machine. Now, within the projector, once we open the projector, once we see the machine from inside, what can I get protection on?
The process of.
So can I get protection on the individual chips? Can I protect somehow
No.
that the way I've arranged the chips in the process?
The
Right?
way you arrange the chips, you can get a patent on that.
So the way I've arranged the chips within the projector, if I try to claim protection on that, and let's say I've given protection on that. So my design is that chip A is coming, is the topmost chip, and then there is another chip called chip B, and then there is chip C, and they're all in descending order, right? So I get, let's say, a patent on that. Although I won't be able to get a patent on that, I'll probably get a copyright, because the arrangement is a unique design. I'll probably may be able to get that. But even if I get that protection, someone else, a new company who wants to make similar projectors, in order to save themselves from all the legal hassles, what can they do? How can they avoid my copyright?
They can change the sequence of the chips.
They can change the sequence, right? So they can put the chip C topmost, and chip B could be the lastmost, and A could just be in between. So they've changed the order. So if they've changed the order, they've changed the design. They've changed the design, so they're not violating my copyright, right? So this is where copyright is such a loose sort of a right. Now, patent, on the other hand, is not on the arrangement of the chips. Patent is on the process which the chips are running and how they are running it. Right? All this process might be written down on a piece of paper explaining how this is done, what will happen, how chip A will communicate with chip B, and how chip B will communicate with chip C, and then how the image will be projected from the projector onto the bigger screen. Right? So this whole process which is happening within the projector is a unique process which you invented. And on this process, you'll get a patent. And once you get this is usually called a utility patent, right? And you get a patent on the utility, on what you're actually making the chips to do, or making the machine to do, what you're getting out of that process. So this processing and the eventual output, this whole process, this whole thing is gets a patent. Now, once you get a patent on this process, now if somebody comes up with a different design of a projector, your projector was white, he makes a black color projector. Your logo is Epson, he makes a new logo, trademark, he makes it, he makes it, let's say, instead of Epson, he puts the name Babson on it. He has a different trademark, different color scheme, everything is different. And even in the projector, what he does is that your projector has the lens on the left side, he puts it on the right side. Your projector has the vents on the upper side, he puts the vents on the below, on the downside of the projector, below the on the back side probably, right? So he designs it completely different. The look and feel is entirely different. And in the projector, within the projector, he puts the chips in the different order. He doesn't follow the orders of the chip that you made in your projector. He basically puts them in a different order within the projector. And then the projector is switched on and it does the same magnification of the image from the laptop onto the wall. Is he violating your patent or not?
No, he's not.
He is. Because your patent is protecting what? Your patent is protecting the process. Eventually, the way the image is being projected and the communication of the chips, it's the same process. As long as it's the same process, no matter how differently designed it is, or how different his logo type is, or the color scheme that he adopts, he's violating your patent, right? Now, in order to basically get away from violating your patent, what does he need to do?
He needs your permission.
So he needs your permission, right? So you need to give him a permission, and that permission is basically again called a license. So he needs to get a license from you, right? If he's not getting a license from you, he's violating your patent. And for that, you can sue him, you can get money out of him, right? Now, another thing, in order to basically not violate your patent, what can he do? He could probably come up with a new process of his own, right? And if he's able to come up with a new process of his own, in which there is a very entirely different way of how a projector operates, then he could probably get a patent of his own, right? So patent is on this process, this uniqueness of process, right? So in US, there's this whole concept of, US is the biggest market for patents. There are a lot of inventors in US. Abraham Lincoln was also an inventor. He had 3 different patents probably in his name, right? So for example, this how a boat is going to transform other boats and lift a boat over a river. This was his patent. So you see, he's drawn different diagrams explaining what will happen and how it will happen. And this is what he's getting a patent on. Okay, so yeah, so patents, you can process product, anything that the usual steps of getting something patented basically involve that you need to show that it's unique, it's novel, it's something which is inventive. So for example, when it comes to inventive product, so slide to unlock that you have on your iPhones is something that they got a patent on. And why were they able to get a patent on? Because it was a unique process that took place. Now, how was Samsung able to counter this patent in its phone, or how on Android does it? So Android phones, if you see, they don't have a slide to unlock. They usually have what?
They have a...
So they'll have like, push to unlock. So the process would be different. Therefore, the patent is, they're not violating Apple's patent. So this is how, so in the phone industry, there are a lot of patents which all all of these different phone companies have gotten registered. So Samsung and Apple, there's an interesting thing that Samsung uses a lot of Apple's patents, and Apple uses a lot of Samsung's patents, and they pay each other money for it, for using their patent and his patent. You know, there's a whole business exchange taking place. So somebody has gotten one of the phone companies gotten this, you know, touch thing. They have a patent on the touch thing, and within this touch thing, there is other processes happening inside the phone. So every small process is patented by different companies. There are some unknown companies, not known to the general public, which are the biggest patent holders, and from whom permission is taken by Apple or by Samsung to put those things in their phones, and those things are very essential for their phones to function, right? So whenever an iPhone is sold, the money made is divided between all these people whose patents are being used, right? So it's not really divided every time, but some royalties are going to them, right? So interestingly, I think one of the latest iPhones, more money will be made by Samsung, for example, on it than opposed to Apple. I mean, I'm probably not telling the correct facts, but that's similar to what happened, you know. So you might be selling the product, but within that product, you are actually selling patents which belong to other people, for which you need to pay royalty, right? So there's this whole concept of, you know, royalties and licenses that go off. So for example, another thing that you see at the leftmost on the slide is a big oil industry, right? These in which crude oil is processed. So this whole process of refining crude oil is a patented process, right? So there are companies which give you this patent to, whenever you are putting up your oil refinery, you need to buy the process from them, and then you'll be making the whole refinery. Okay, and patents need to be novel. Novel means that, you know, you can't just claim a patent on every bit of improvement that you do. So on your screen you see common pins, and then there is a safety pin, right? So safety pin from a common pin is quite different, right? So there's a lot of invention. It's not a logical step. Okay, it's something. If you contrast with these ladders on the other side that I'm on this slide, if you make a ladder with 3 steps and you've made a ladder for 2 steps or 5 steps, that's not really invention. That is, you know, that's something, you know, it's a logical extension of what already has been invented. So if you see safety pins and common pins, safety pin is not a logical extension of the common pin, right? It involves a step of invention. It involves a small process, so it can be patented. So certain things can be patented and certain things cannot be patented. And there's a whole list of, you know, what can be patented or what cannot be patented in Pakistan, for example, right? And countries have different lists of their own. So if you see, in Pakistan, computer software cannot be patented, but in the US, computer software can be patented, right? But there's a different patent to it. There are a lot of intricacies into the law. But scientific discoveries cannot be patented. So if you discover a new element, you cannot patent it. It already existed in the world. You never invented it, right? You only discovered it. Discoveries are not patentable. Inventions are, and those inventions which are unique in their process. So any game that you invent, or any mental act that you do, magicians obviously want to get their tricks patented, but those cannot be patented, right? So although for him that's a unique way of doing something, you know, there's this in US. Yes, in US they allow for a patent called a business process patent, and this is what Amazon has on its one-click shopping experience. But in Pakistan, for example, you can't do that. You can't do that probably in a lot of countries in the world. Only US has, you know, certain relaxed patent laws, and because US has certain these relaxed patent laws, number of times the US patents are not that valuable, because, you know, people know that these patents can be easily, you know, you can easily save yourself from the legalities of these patents by getting a patent of your own. So they're really, there's this argument, whether you should have a very strict patent law, or very loosely held patent law, or whether you should have a patent law at all, because by allowing patent law, a lot of countries also suffer. For example, in the pharmaceutical industry, when drugs are patented by big drug manufacturers, those drugs can only be made by those manufacturers, and those manufacturers can then charge premium price, and they're often life-saving drugs, and a lot of money can be made out of people's lives. So by disallowing patent law, probably you can save a lot of lives. That is one argument. But on the other hand, the other business argument is that if you don't have patent laws, then these big drug companies, these big pharmaceuticals won't invest a lot of money in research and development, and new drugs won't be invented by them because there is no incentive for them. The incentive being, if they get a patent, they'll be able to charge a premium, right? If you don't give them incentive, they won't get on with inventions, they won't invent new things, and they won't, new things won't come into the country. So it's a very big debate. And aligned with this debate, in the software industry, we have this debate of open source software and licensed software. So if you know Apple, Apple is a closed system. It doesn't allow its software to be operated on other machines. But Android is an open source version of the same operating systems, and anyone can manufacture phones and put Android in it. So Android has helped in proliferation of smartphones, and had open source, because Android is not patented, whereas Apple got its software and everything patented. So nobody can use it like that. Therefore, they're expensive. Android phones are cheaper. Okay, any questions?
No, sir.
Sir, how to check patents? How to check for patents? Check for patents.
How to check for patents? You can actually. So there are big companies which provide these services. This is quite a this is quite an expensive affair. So there are different databases on which you need to check, and apart from databases, you need to do a lot of other searches. So scientific journals need to be checked whether someone else has come up with this process or not. So the companies which provide these services, these are called prior searching for prior art, and prior art service providers usually charge a couple of $1,000s to undertake this.
Sir, what about patents.google.com?
Now you can check on that as well.
Yeah.
But that is not the extensive, that doesn't cover everything, right? So maybe someone in Mongolia has registered a patent or something. But Mongolia patents may not be visible on google.com, or maybe China patents are not there, right? So there are a lot of things. Shall I guess that's it. I have to that's it from my side.
Anyone has any questions? Dr. Shahid Saab, we can continue with your session. We have an exercise right now.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So Saab, once again, what an articulated session. And मुझे भी दिल करता है आपका student बन जाऊं यार. It's really amazing to learn, and that is practical oriented. It's not. It is very well integrated, and I would like to once again thanks all of my participants, and we're so honored that Alhamdulillah. I think we don't have words, Bhai. That we try to treat our students in a different way in this course. And in this course, Professor Shoaib Saab, my teacher Nazarine, she's from Azerbaijan. What were your comments, Nazar? Can you just share, because you have been with us for past 8 days, and I will ask Aina as well, and then Arib as well from IB as well, for 2-3 minutes. just to so that we can share our learnings with Professor Sahib. Nazarene, would you like to share? Did you enjoy or low enjoyment, less, medium? How did you like?
Hi, Professor Saab. Before my grandma asked that Nazir, what are you learning now? And I say that they are learn that what we need from the entrepreneur side. For example, that's this one. I try to explain what does it mean, the intellectual property and general the sole partnership, sole property, like that. And thank you for your session. It was really knowledgeable, and we really appreciate that you are here and
Okay, thank you very much. The second question, Nazreen, is what did you learn about the whole course? How did you experience IBA, its faculty, and that as well? Yes.
Okay, generally from my work, they gave me a task for just making a draft for it's like a business. It's a kind of a, some branch of our work. They say that Nazrin, you should prepare some draft. I said okay. I had it just 2 days. After that, I when like I'm learning this ones, marketing side from this property sides. Okay. I thought that no, I can give to them not just a draft. I can give them like prepared ready PPT for this one. So like business a startup business model with this. I will no, I am preparing this. Okay. I will put all of which kind of things I learned this course. I will put all of that to this PPT.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Nazreen. We're running out of time. Aina, would you like to do any comments, any interesting thing which you observed during these 7-8 days? Yes.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's been really interesting because with this course, we did not just learn the theoretical part of being an entrepreneur, but it was all practical. And it's not just taking in, but it's taking what you taught and then putting it to practice. Because I think many times people just go with ideas, but actually never get to start what they're learning. And also, one thing I've learned besides the actual work is that with diversity comes exposure, and that is what sir, you and your team have been offering us during this course so far. And as well as being an entrepreneur is not just about the ideas and what you want to do, but it's also considering other external factors, considering legal factors as well, and eventually taking what you have in your hands and see what you can do with it, not just for your own good, but for the community and those around you.
Yes, great. So well, thanks. Aina is from Namibia. She's right now studying in Thailand. So Isha Saba is a mother. Isha Saba. She's from Karachi. She did her master's in gender studies. She has come to take this course.
Sorry to interrupt. I would like to leave. Have another meeting to attend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye. So over to Zarish and so once again, my dear students, we have only a few days left. And for those of you who want to have an A grade, they are requested to make sure that they are in my class. The worst thing I like to do is to do grading. So in my course, when the course starts, everybody starts with an A grade. And as the time passes, Aina, you know what happens? My criteria for giving grade is to look at your enthusiasm. That's it. If somebody can show that he's enthusiastic and he's a keen learner, and if somebody is helping me learn, if somebody, Aina, is helping Dr. Shahid learn, he's a student for me. If somebody is helping me learn, if somebody is asking me good questions, and somebody is making me work harder, how can you make me work harder? You can ask good questions, you can If you are attentive, and then I speak better. If you are lazy, then I become lazy. So if anybody can do that, he can get an A. That's simple, but still, unfortunately, only 20% people get A. It's very sad. I'm trying too hard because in my case, if all of them do, I will give everybody A grade, and I don't fear from anybody. So, but unfortunately, some people have decided that in their life, they're not going to be enthusiastic. They're not going to be. They're not. They don't want to learn. They have decided. So we're trying to. I don't know what to do, Aina. But I really appreciate, for example, Arif, Aina. These are my favorite people. And Nazreen has been trying, but her articulation needs to be improved. I asked a simple question, and I couldn't understand what she said. Unfortunately, I don't know what you said. The simple question was, what did you learn in these 10 days? And you were talking about PowerPoint. I don't know. And so you should have, my dear student, you see, you're very good, but we need to articulate. Uzair is an amazing boy. I saw him, very meticulous. Isha, look at this. This lady, she is so meticulous and in all her assignments. So you see, I'm not here. You see, that's why, I just got an email from Harvard 5 days ago that Shahid, please do another course for 10 hours. You know, Nazreen, how much I have to pay for 10 hours? 1400 USD, $1,400 for 10 hours. So you see, when you get things for free, then you don't value. When you pay less, then you don't value. So that's why I'm a bit strict and I get angry. And that's why I do not encourage people to do things for free. And I tell people, even if you get an opportunity for free, don't do it. Pay something. Because when you pay something, then you will learn. You can't learn for free. This principle for free will not work anywhere. You will not value it. You will not respect the systems. So don't be angry. This is my experience. This is my experience. If you don't value something, if you don't respect something, you don't respect time, you don't respect the faculty, then you forget about it. You will be lying down on the bed and then trying to learn. It won't work. So anything in this world does not come without effort, time, effort, and money. So this is a humble effort. So please, you will be going for a break. And there are a lot of people, everyone is A grade. You see, we started this course with that everyone, Mariam was amazing. I'm really impressed with this computer science lady, Mariam. And you see, and there's some more people, their pictures are off, so I can't recognize them. But the Nisam was, I think, they're very good people. And I will be happy to give everybody A. I'm not here to suppress. I'm here to make you A stars. Kya khayal hai, Amna Saba? How did you find me? You have been with me in the MBA program. Can you explain further?
Sure, sir. Sir, I think what you're saying is absolutely correct, that you give us the benefit of doubt, and आपकी class में आप students को day one से you just keep us all in this very high regard, एक pedestal पे बिठा के रखते हैं, and फिर वो हमारे ऊपर होता है कि
English, please. English, yeah.
Right. So basically, you give all your students a very fair chance to get straight A's because, you start off with a default A setting. Like, you think the best of us, you want us to be our best selves, our best versions, our most hardworking, most well-behaved, personalities. But the thing is, then some students, they don't meet that standard. Obviously, they start slacking or get disrespectful or something, and that definitely, then you feel hurt by that, because you're one of those professors who, instead of thinking that a person has to earn the A, you are actually the person who's like a student has to earn the F. So failing your class is very, very hard.
It's very difficult to get a bad grade in my course.
Absolutely,
unless he decides deliberately. Mariam Saba, उसने तय कर लिया ना कि मैंने, तो फिर उसको मिलता है. Otherwise तो ये Amna, mashallah, is one of the star students, and everybody's. Huda Ghauri was amazing. Huda Saba, I really appreciate your contribution, mashallah. यानी ठीक है, assignments नहीं की सही कुछ, but you're meticulous. Anybody who's present, who's listening, he is an A star for me. And there are many A stars hidden inside. Sami Shahnawaz was, mashallah, kabhi kabhi ye yawn karte hain, lekin he is very good. Anybody who's prepared and coming to the course, I want you to be A actually. You are A actually. You are A. Kisne kaya aapko B? Who said you are BC? You are A stars. And in this course, we want to find the best out of you. And so these are small tasks. So there are only 3-4 days left. And just quickly, let me share the screen. And you see, you should at least show some gratitude and note of thanks for Asghar Saab, for Zarish. You see, this is you paid the same amount for a 3 credit hour course, but you see the level of commitment and hard work to bring every faculty. You know how many emails have to be done, Arif Saab? To bring every faculty into this course, we have to email 10 times, I think. Initial contact, then we have to telephone, I have to telephone, and Asghar has to call, time has to be set, the course outline has to be set, then you have to be invited, a poster is made, a graphic designer is working for us. And after all that, one teacher comes. And how many people have come, Darish? Asghar Sahab, how many people have come into this course?
So 78.
यार teachers कितने आ चुके हैं भाई? Teacher,
Sir,
guest speakers,
around 12.
around
13.
15, 20. So my dear, if somebody comes late and he keeps on yawning and he is lying on the bed, तो मुझे गुस्सा चढ़ना चाहिए अरीब साहब के नहीं फिर? थोड़ा सा चढ़ सकते हैं, इजाजत है?
जी सर, बिल्कुल पे justified होता है.
And वो इसलिए नहीं हो, because if you see Tamara, is it easy? Aina, Tamara's time, you know, she's spending 5 hours. And when I ask a Babson faculty, a American teacher to come and teach, you know, they charge $10,000 for a day. And we ever experienced, I'm not joking, it's $10,000. Why would they come and teach? What's the reason? And why are they volunteering? The only and only reason for volunteering is they're doing it for a higher purpose. And they're doing it for a higher purpose that these young boys and girls, if they are developed, they will become a source of inspiration and love for the world actually. We will leave a legacy. And that's why I'm so much impressed by Tamara. Look at this, Dr. Khurram. You saw the energy of Dr. Khurram from Qatar? You see, when he teaches at IBA for one day, you know what is the fees of this program? 90,000 rupees. If you want to attend a 2 days course of Dr. Khurram at the IBA Center for Executive Education, you know how much you have to pay, Isha Saiba? 90,000 rupees for 2 days. And he gave this, and you know what he sells to me, Shahid? I love teaching in your center. And he is heavily subsidized. So I'm just saying out of love with you. I don't want to make you feel bad. It is out of love. It's like a dad when a father or mother. Aina, does mother or father can talk like this? Is it okay? So when a mother or father talks like this, then don't take it that negative. Okay, it's a fatherly, it's a motherly concern. It's a motherly concern that we want you to be the stars. Tabab Sahab, okay? Tabab, Huda, Daud. Daud is good, mashallah. And Mikhail, Rutba, Panjwani was for us as well. So you see, it's just small gestures. And these gestures will be useful for you in your life, I tell you. Nobody will see your 3.8 CGPA, no way. They will look at your meticulousness, their smile, their punctuality, their gratitude, full of humility. That is going to work actually. That is going to work. That's it. Nothing else is going to work. Your color, your accent, your tone, your American English is not going to work. It only works for a very small time, only a few hours, that's it. I'm going to tell you, many people are meeting me and they're telling me, Shahid, we do not want to hire graduates from London IBA. They're telling me, because I said, why? I am a graduate. And what brought arrogance? And arrogance was they thought that they're A stars. They're superficially A stars. So my dear students, we are here for a great purpose, and it was just out of love that I said these words. And I said it because today we're having a session right now. Dr. Tamara is coming. So I will request everybody to spend 2-3 hours after this session. My session will be an extension. Amna, what's going to happen tomorrow? And today evening, something interesting is going to happen or no? Tomorrow is interesting day. Amna, are we going to have a debate tomorrow?
Sir, yes, tomorrow's parliament.
So
And
tomorrow we're going to have an interesting activity. We will divide the class into 2 groups. We will divide the class into 2 groups, and one will be the causal group and one will be the effectual group. Amna, can you remember?
yes, sir, absolutely.
So one will be the causal group and one will be the effectual group. They will be given some money, few $1 million, and they will be given an assignment. So these 2 groups will do a parliamentary debate. So they will be debating with each other, and so
actually we'll make WhatsApp groups today for the both the parties, and they can discuss among themselves within that group that what they will say about on to in order to defend themselves. So yeah, this is
what was the theme? Amna, would you like to share with them right now? What was the theme going to be for tomorrow?
Sure. Ms. Zarish, do you want to say or should I say it?
You can say this.
I think Amna, please, you have been doing it. You have been doing it.
Okay, sure, absolutely. So basically, you guys, the idea is that you've been given the equal amounts of money, but we're divided into 2 groups. One group is going to do causal entrepreneurship, like how to promote entrepreneurship through causal methodologies, and the other group is going to promote entrepreneurship through effectual methodologies. And so basically that's the debate, that you have the same amount of money, you have the same resources, but your approach and your mindset and your goal is different. So what I want you to think is basically, how you have social improvement, economic, empowerment sort of thing. So one group is going to work through this, the traditional entrepreneurship model, that they're going to try to create entrepreneurial opportunities by operating in the usual methodology. And the other group wants to do it for social improvement purposes, for, falahi behbood sort of thing. So social entrepreneurship. So basically, we want to see how can you, while one group is using the money in the traditional way, the other group will use the money in a more socially driven way, so not for profit. So we want to see how can a not for profit entrepreneurship model work versus how can a for profit entrepreneurship model work. Does that make sense?
I think we can talk about the details because we have to discuss. One way was,
right,
Amna, that maybe they considered themselves as minister of Azerbaijan. For example, Nazanin is the minister, and
right,
the president has asked her that I'm going to give you $200 million. So she has $200 million, and if she's in the causal group, she will think, how will she spend $200 million to promote entrepreneurship in Azerbaijan? And if she is in the effectual group, then she will still have $200 million, and she will think, if Aina is in Namibia, then if it depends on which group you come. So you have like, everybody will be having like $50 million. 200 is too much. $50 million. If you have $50 million, and then what will you do, Ari? What will you do in Pakistan? You are close to the Prime Minister, and Pakistan is all suffering from foreign exchange, and that money is going to be taken from the IMF. So there's a proposal by somebody that you get $50 million from IMF to promote entrepreneurship in the country. So Prime Minister Imran Khan has asked Arif and Hassan Rashid and Mariam, a committee of 3 ministers, say, gentlemen, tell me what to do. So you have to tell in that debate. Something like that, Amna, would be good, I think. So they will be, so this group, the causal group, will be making a plan what to do, and then we'll be having an effectual group. So then these 2 groups can present their ideas and we can have some debate. Is it a good idea, Dawood?
Yes, sir, absolutely a very good idea.
Huda Saiba?
Yes, sir, this would be a very good idea.
Debate, is it fine? Panjwani Saiba, Rutba Saiba?
Yes, it seems interesting.
Interesting. Model United Nations को हमने काटना है. हमने मॉडल यूनाइटेड नेशंस वालों को ना सबक सिखाना है कि अल्लाह के बंदो रेलेवेंट काम किया करो. ये लोगों को कपड़े पहनाकर ना तो पैसे खर्च कराते हैं माँ बाप के. Okay, so that's good. So Amna and her husband Umar will be there, inshallah.
Sir, I'm not sure about Omar because he has a meeting, but even if he's not
Okay.
there, I can talk about his entrepreneurial journey. So that's not
Okay,
an issue.
so and then tomorrow what will happen is you can still see my screen.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
we can.
So my dear students, we are heading towards the end, and so then after that we'll be having a story of Amna herself. She आप American grammar में थी बच्चे किस स्कूल में थी यहाँ?
Karachi American School. Karachi.
जी?
KES, Karachi American School.
She was in Karachi American School, then she went to the US. She and she will tell her story of studying an undergrad in the US, Washington DC, and then coming over to Pakistan and doing an MBA from IBA. And then she started some companies, she got married, and Alhamdulillah, she is one of my students and a proud student. She knows Spanish, and she will take you a quick tour of Alhambra, Spain. And so she will tell the importance of Spanish. She will tell her own story, and she will be your coordinator for tomorrow's parliamentary debate. Both husband and wife, mashallah, they are great students and they are very good in parliamentary debates. And Saturday, so we will be having Dr. Umair. Is an amazing person. You are so lucky. You saw if I have to pay him, I have to pay him like $1,000. And he is here. He volunteers. He is at the University of Toronto, Canada. Amazing person. He will be interacting to you tomorrow. Sunday will be an off day, and then the final exam will start somewhere here. Take home exam. There will be some final interesting things in 15. A Pakistani case. On 15 Monday, everyone will be cooking, inshallah. So everyone will be cooking something. Aina, you have a kitchen in Bangkok where you live?
Yes, sir.
Does everybody have access to a kitchen?
Yes, sir.
Kanchan, do you have an access to a kitchen? Rutba, Nazarene, Isha. So
Yes,
on
sir.
Monday,
Yes, sir.
there will be a cooking activity we call the factual snacks. Zarish असल में ना मैं पहले से बता रहा हूँ ताकि थोड़ा सा hype create हो जाए. So
ठीक है, sir.
and that will be great. So everyone, men and women, they will be cooking something, but we will tell you at the last minute what to cook. So it will be a surprise. So keep your fingers crossed. Something will happen 10 minutes before. When we do the activity, we will tell you what to do. Arif will have to do cutting and cooking, and let's see your cooking. But you can use your bird in hand. You can engage your grandma, grandpa, ammijan, mom, dad, papa, Isha Saba. You can engage your husband to cook and cut onions for you, maybe if he agrees. And then you have to decorate your dish. You have to present it, make a photo of it, small movie of it, and then we will see what is going to be a surprise. The half surprise is open, but the half surprise is maybe we see some Turkish food in Nazreen's house. Wow, Zabardast, Wunderbar. And the Huda साहब कभी खाना पकाया है कभी? चलो शुक्र है जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. I can cook. I can cook dal, bindi tori. I can cook, mashallah. So when Kanchan Sahaba, have you done some cooking?
Yes, sir, of course.
जी Uzair, did you? प्याज काटें कभी? Have you cut onions? Great. And then, so that will be a very interesting class, and then we will be, inshallah, moving quickly. Zarish, 10 minute or bas, 10 minute or. I create
Okay, sir.
cut. And then we will effectual dinner, and then we will be hopefully. Asghar Sahab, did we get an answer from New Zealand?
No,
Azmi
sir,
Sahab,
not
did
yet.
you get an answer
Not,
from New Zealand?
no, sir.
Okay. Okay, hopefully, maybe we take you to Wellington, New Zealand for a quick tour and a very interesting entrepreneurial opportunity. Those of you who are interested in going to, those of you who want to go to, just a minute, those of you who are interested in going to New Zealand for business, for education, for marriage, any three options. So Mubashir from New Zealand will help you to know about that. ठीक है जी? And then that will be the last class. Yeah, on 16, the last session will be from Australia. And anybody who wants to go to Australia for education, tour, whatsoever, Faisal bin Badr, he is my PhD student. He'll be talking, and that'll be the last session. And in the meanwhile, your final exam will be in process. You will have 2 to 3 days for that fun-based and interesting exam, inshallah. So you look at this. We should be, please everybody write a note of thanks to Zarish and Asghar Azmi. Really, they deserve a note of thanks from my side. They have been working on this. Zarish Azmi in particular, he has been working for the past 5-6 months, and it was very difficult, very challenging, and very, very unpredictable. You know, every IB student, you were interviewed for this course. ठीक है जनाब, तो over to Zarish Baji. Zarish, take over.
Okay, sir, you need to make breakouts for the activity.
अच्छा जी, वो बना लो यार. चलो जी, मैं बना देता हूँ. How
There
many?
are host Fatma co-host, and then there will be 5 breakouts. You can make random breakouts. I think that is
5.
more.
ठीक है जी.
5 breakouts, yeah.
अच्छा, फातिमा को मैंने बनाना है co-host, हाँ?
सर मुझे
निमी को भी.
Okay, CD.
असगर साहब को.
Amna Chandana is the co-host. Lot of thanks to Amna. Lot of thanks to you see everybody, my dear students. I tell you, this is not money actually. This is beyond money. This is beyond the call of duty. Everyone which comes in our team, he is not here for Amna. That is Nimi Siddiqui. These people are my stars, and I'm indebted to them. That the way they help me, the way they collaborate. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 people. Have you ever seen such people in a 3 credit hour course? खुदा साहब कभी नजर आए इतने लोग वो बंदे जनाब कोर्स में आए हुए हों? इसका क्या मतलब है? What does this mean? इसका मतलब क्या बताएं?
It means that this course is very attractive.
It means this is
Very
very
useful.
important. It means something else. It means something else. कोई बताएगा उसको CP मिल सकती है आज अच्छे नंबर.
it
रुतबा
means that
साहब, what is it?
It means it is different from other courses we studied in the same year. It is more practical than theoretical.
Better answer. This is a better answer. This is a better answer. This is a better answer.
They're all
Sir,
working together. They're all
it
working together
means
to help us.
it means that so many people in this course in the coordination. It means, what does it mean, Talha? G.
Sir, this course gives us boost to do something on our own.
There are so many people in this course and so many faculty. It means that you are important. Rutba is important, Huda is important, Sahab is important, Visum is important. That's simple. Uzair is important. You are our heroes. We are here for you. We are here for you. Sami, Misam, agree with this or not? Or I'm talking superficially.
Yes, we
Can you
do.
feel मेरे
Yes,
दिल
sir.
की आवाज है ये ऊपर से जा रहा हूं मैं बताएं
Say दिल की आवाज है आपका.
शमी
It
साहब
feels like a family. Yes, sir, it does
ये
feel
जरिश
like a
कितने मिनट का
family.
बनाना है भाई जरिश साहब
15 minutes, sir.
जरिश साहब कितने मिनट का बनाना है
15 minutes. 15.
ठीक है जनाब मेरे जवाब सुन नहीं सका व्हाट वाज द आंसर उजैर साहब is it superficial or is coming from our heart
Sir, we believe that it is coming from your heart. Yeah.
अंदाजा कर सकता है
Yeah, it is coming from your heart.
मैं ओपन कर दूं
So
जी
the commitment.
जी सर सानिया को मेरे
ओके प्लीज एक्सेप्ट सानिया को आपके पास भेज दें ठीक ना बंद करें थे। नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो 3-4 दिन रह गए हैं, वो लोग तवज्जो नहीं दे रहे हैं ना, इसलिए इनको सानिया जमाली।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
गुस्सा चढ़ गया कि ये वो जो उसको गुस्सा चढ़ गया मुझे अजरबैजान वाले पे। एक मुफ्त आई हुई है, उसको मैंने पूछा कि जरा बताओ कि लर्निंग क्या है, वो ऐसे डब्बे मारे उसने पता नहीं चला बोली क्या है, इसलिए वो तकरीर झाड़ दी मैंने। मतलब ये तो 11 गुफ्तगू चली गई है। हाँ? Aina, okay. Aina sub is amazing. Aina, can you hear me? Yes. ये कितनी देर की गेम है जी? और ये कैसी मजेदार गेम है? जर्मन भी? पीएचडी होल्डर सब्जी बेचने वाली का अंग्रेजी में एहतजाज। पीएचडी आपके क्या प्रोग्राम से क्या करें? कहाँ जा रहे? कहाँ जा रहे? कहाँ जा रहे?
5-6 काम करने बाहर के। आप आराम से खाना खाइए। तो आप खाइए चिकन, सब्जी है, ब्राउन राइस, दाल है, दादी को जाना है बाहर।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। हेलो
जी जी ओके
सर,
मोस्ट
मैं
दीवानी
एक्चुअली
ओके
सर
ओके ओके
आई
ओके
वाज असाइंड एट क्लस्टर 3 और मैं मेरा
आई एम सेंडिंग यू बैक। किसका जाए? फातिमा अली का देखना चाहिए इसको सर कहाँ जाए हम? यार बंद कर यार, ये कहाँ जी ये अरशद की तरफ चल रहे हैं, ये बेचारी के लिए लगी हुई है। इसमें भी जाकर देखना, निमी को मिल के आना पहले। पनमादा, वो आज नहीं आएगी। ये इसको अभी ना करेंगे तो कभी रुक जाएगा। इसको कीप रिकॉर्ड रूम ओपन। 2-3 मिनट हो दे देते हैं। यार वो नहीं खुला यार। तकासुर।
सर वो डिसाइड हुआ था कि हम 90 सेकंड की पिच भी लोगों को प्रैक्टिस कराएंगे।
हाँ वो अभी यही करा लेंगे नहीं बस मुख्तसर से।
ठीक है सर, मैंने कल उनको रिमाइंडर्स दे क्लास का।
अभी आप आगे नहीं वापस जी इसमें क्या कहते हैं?
जी सर, वहाँ वो आमना है वहाँ सर।
ओके,
मैंने आपसे बात करनी थी तो मैंने कहा आपको ज्वाइन कर।
अच्छी बात है। तो दैट्स फाइन। तो उधर से बुलवा रहे लोगों को, काम हो गया ऑलमोस्ट।
सर बस 1 मिनट रह गया, 60 सेकंड्स थे तो दे विल बी कमिंग बैक।
ओके, नहीं अभी
आना
उनको
शुरू हो गया सर।
ग्रेट ग्रेट। जी जरी साहबा, थिंग्स आर फाइन। और जी सामा तारिक साहब, आप कहाँ चले जाते हैं?
यस सर।
सर इधर ही था मैं, वीडियो सिर्फ बंद थी।
आज सुबह थे आप?
जी मैं इधर ही था, वो लीगल वाला लिया लेसन।
नहीं आप सर जियारत कराया करें मुझे, उसके बाद बेशक पर्दे में चले जाया करें। जियारत कराकर पर्दे में चले जाया करें ताकि वो हमें ईमान वालों और नूरानी लोगों का साथ चाहिए ना हमें।
चेहरे भी थे।
मनतकुल्लाह। Okay. So anyhow, you see our respect we give to Mary, the mother of Jesus. You know how it is described. Yeah, Maryam. We call Maryam. You know this. In Arabic we call Maryam. In English we call Mary. So yeah, Maryam Qunuti, and Maryam was a great lady. And Maryam was a God-fearing lady. So she's described with great respect. And we honor her, and we believe that these people are amazing, chosen ones, and may God give us the ability to benefit from their lives. Their life stories are amazing, and how they sacrifice themselves. So Usama Tariq Sahab, what is your key learnings, my मेरे बेटे? 8-10 दिन में चीजें, you are sitting in a car?
जी सर।
गाड़ी में बैठे हैं, बिजली गई हुई है या एसी चला के बैठ गए?
सर थोड़ा सा एक काम पड़ा था।
अच्छा ओके। You can keep on doing, mashallah. So Usama Tariq is my friend's son, and Zari साहबा, ये पता कौन है? ये इंटरलूप है ना, इंटरलूप वाले हमारे तारिक साहब के बेटे हैं माशाल्लाह।
अच्छा।
His auntie did our course, the woman entrepreneurship in Faisalabad, और उनकी आंटी ने माशाल्लाह अपना, she has made her own brand now. She has her own brand. Wow, mashallah. So Usama, you are her customer as well or not?
माशाल्लाह।
सर वो लेडीज का है अपना ना?
नहीं, वो नौजवानों के लिए भी बनाने शुरू कर दी ना स्लीपिंग सूट्स।
हाँ वो थोड़ा सा उन्होंने किया। जी।
It's a very interesting story. We interviewed her. We're writing a case study on her. That her husband died, and she was living in sort of because you see your husband dies, you have sons and daughters, you go into depression naturally. But as a believer, Aina, we are lucky that as a believer, if there's a true Muslim or true Christian or a true Jew, I think they should be thankful, because that belief keeps us alive actually. You see many people who do not believe in God Almighty, and this is the problem with Western social science. You see the Mill and these Western social scientists, you know what they said? That this God, this earth and this universe is without a God, and everything is happening by chance.
Giving them the ration, and we were also giving them the mask, like free mask in that ration as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Fatima.
Yes, sir. So hello everyone. It was a very fun activity, and people in my breakout room came up with amazing ideas. So over to Arif Share. He will share the strategy devised by all of them together. Okay, Arif.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, we wanted to break down that what's SOPs that we would be following for this activity. So we realized that masks, gloves, and social distancing are the way to go about it. And then we wanted to devise what things would we require for our packages, and how much would we require to deliver those to the households. So if these are low income households, we would need at least a seven member package, so that our packages aren't too small. So we made a list of rice, flour, sugar, sanitizer, 7 masks, and seven pairs of gloves, so that we have a complete package. We'll have a truck that will deliver those different packages at the starting point at the supplies area, and then we'll individually take each of the 12 packages per member, so that we are able to maintain the aspect of social distancing and deliver it to each household. So if we're delivering to 100 households, we wanted to have a house number checklist, so that we know that we are not delivering to the same house twice. So that's how we would be going about it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Anybody left? अगला group कौन सा है जनाब?
Sir, me, Javeria.
जी Javeri sir.
Okay, sir. The members in my breakout were very innovative and creative. So they came up very good strategies. I would like Diane to call up, and he'll be the group lead for my cluster, and he'll be explaining that what was the strategy. Over to you, Diane.
So when you got to know that we need to deliver it to 100 families, so the very first thing was deciding what will we put into the ration packs. So we decided with the basic stuff, basic things that need to be part of the ration packs. It was 5 kg rice, 20 kg wheat or flour. There will be 1 pack of salt, one carton of milk, soap, sanitizer, and mask. Masks like 2 bars of soap, 6 to 7 sanitizer bottles, 6 to 7 masks. Then we'll be having a bag of pulses in which we'll be having white lovia, masoor ki dal, black chana, and mash ki dal. Then we'll be having basic spices like red chili, salt, and everything. There'll be 3 kg oil, 2 kgs of sugar. Then we'll be having a pack of tea, ruafza, and four boxes of matchstick. So this makes it easy for a house to survive probably 2 to 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks if it's a normal sized family. The next thing that we decided was how to enable and everyone knows that we will be distributing ration. So for that we decided that we'll be choosing the local masjid, and we'll be a day before we'll be having elans. So the people are aware that our team will be coming up and they will be distributing ration. And just for the start, for the very first day, we will be having masjid as a center point where we will be calling everyone up, so we can we can properly organize and collect their data. So how will we be checking up that one family gets one ration bag and no one is getting 2 ration bags? So the very first thing we'll be checking their CNICs. So for every CNIC, we'll be noting down their addresses. So if one address is if we have catered one address once, so we won't be allowing a second member from the same address to come in and get the ration bag. But we will be having a buffer. If we plan on distributing it to 100 families, we'll be packing up around 120 to 130 ration bags. So if there's a house where 2 families are living, or for example there's a family which is big, if there's a father and he has 2 sons and both are married and they also have children, so we will be providing them with extra ration bags, because their need won't be catered. Because the reason for this whole process is to cater the needs of the people and help them out, not just to distribute a ration bag to each house. So for the team, what we decided was that we'll be dividing our team into two parts. One will be responsible for packing and will be supporting us in procuring stuff and packing stuff, and the other team will be responsible for distribution and handling all the information that we are collecting. So when the teams are divided, so the one team that is procuring and everything, they will be working for the first few days and they'll be busy in that, while the other team will be arranging these facilities in masjid and will be organizing how these collection points will be done. So once we are done with all this process, a final drive will be in which we will be going to the streets and we'll be walking around in our van which can be a Bulan or which can be a highest, in which we will be only delivering it to the old people who were unable to come to the mosque and they were unable to collect the ration bags. Or someone tells us, okay, at this corner house there's an old lady living and who we were unable to reach. I don't want my team to go to every house because the chances and risk of getting corona increases. And if I lose a volunteer, that means I won't be able to fulfill my task or the activity that I've planned. So this will be our basic structure of how we will be proceeding with this plan.
Thank you, Diane.
Really good time. I think you guys, this is the only group which come up with such a long and good strategy. I really like this. And any other group which is left?
Thanks, ma'am.
Yes, there's one more. This was breakout 2, and I really must appreciate Diane for this well thought of and detailed strategy. And our breakout was there were 2 areas in the whole of the slum area, and Sajwar is going to lead it. So Sajwar, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Basically, first we decided what to keep in our ration bags. There we would include basic necessities like flour, rice, oil, pulses, basic spices, a carton of milk, tea, sugar, salt, soap, sanitizers, Dettol, N95 masks, and shampoos. Now the ration bag will be made out of jute so that it's cost efficient. And now we had 2 areas. We were in area 2. Area 2 was divided into 2 parts. We were 6 people. 2 people will go to the first area because that was comparatively smaller. 4 people will go to the other area. We'll ask the local mosque to announce a day before that we're going to distribute ration. So, and ensure that the mosque announces and make sure everybody is staying at their own place. Then we'll divide those smaller areas into further areas, and we'll get local volunteers from the local community and ask them to guide us. Our team will be wearing masks, hands, gloves, and we'll carry those sanitized disinfectant machines with us as well. We'll have a Google sheet and spray, and after we distribute ration to every house, we'll spray the house from the outside, write down the CNIC on the Google sheet so that everybody on ground has access to that sheet and nobody distributes ration to one house twice. And we'll make sure that the local volunteers guide us to which house is needing of more ration or which house is facing more crisis, so that we can accommodate them accordingly. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajwar.
But any other group which is left? I think we are done with all. Dr. Shahid?
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, we are done with the debriefing.
Okay, so now we have like 30 minutes. Azmi sir, what we have to do? Can I explain a quick model and then we will try to
Sir, you need to explain the E+ model, I think.
What is the grading? Can you tell me about the grades of the final exam, to the class?
Yes, sir. For the final exam is for 50 marks, which is divided into 2 things.
50%, not 50 marks, 50%.
50%. Okay. So the 15%, 15% of the marks is for that verbal of Dr. Yeah. Verbal of Dr. Yeah, Dr. Tamara, and the next 35% of the marks will be the case study, right, sir?
Yes.
Yes.
So we will give you a case study which you will take home and you will read it and answer a few questions. That's it. So it will be fun. That is a very interesting case. We will take you to India, and there's a gentleman who's a class 10 dropout, and he's trying to make a company, and he makes a 1 billion rupee company, and he's a dropout, and we will see that he's trying to work on the principles of Dr. Tamara. And he's trying to work on the principles of Dr. Tamara and what we'll be teaching in the Entrepreneurship Plus model. And Kanchan Saba, he makes a 1 billion INR company. And Unilever of India and Procter and Gamble of India is begging to that school dropout, sir, please, we want to sell, we want to purchase your company. Can you please sell to us खुदा का नाम है बेच दें, हम मारे गए हैं, हमें बेच दें. The MBAs of the Unilever are begging and they are bargaining and they're convincing the school dropout whose name is Nazar. He's a Muslim, Nazar, Jafar, and these are three cousins and brothers who are class 10, 7, 8 dropouts. So this is a very interesting case which will be coming in the final exam. अरीब साहब ऐसा इम्तिहान देखा कभी आपने? आपको पहले बता रहे इम्तिहान यार रद्द हो गया. Have you heard about an exam in which you are telling everything beforehand यार?
No, sir.
Sometimes maybe.
इस तरह से पूरा कोर्स ही हमने जो किया है पूरा यूनिक सा ही है.
तो
So
we go for a next
एग्जाम में ऐसे
step.
एक्सपेक्ट करूंगा.
हम तो we go to a next step. वो मेरे पास टाइम थोड़ा है. You know what the next step to do, Mikhail? आप बस जंप ना मारना, अपने आप को जरा संभल कर बैठना जरा, बस जंप ना मार देना खुशी में. संभल लिया? Okay. What we do, Arif, in our MBA final exams, is I ask the students to make their own final exam. Everybody make their own. Arif Sahib, so I asked Arif to make his own final exam and just tell me, Dr. Shahid, this is my final exam, sir. And Mikhail will say, sir, this is my final exam. And Rutba will say, I want to be checked on this, sir. Hasan Sahib खुश हो रहे हैं, he's very happy today, माशाल्लाह Hasan Sahib. और ये हमारी there is one person, हुदा साहबा खुश हैं कि नहीं? Happy? यानी देखना जी, वो यहाँ पर एक भाई थे जिनकी लाइट ही हमेशा जाती रहती है. Okay, so generally मरियम साहबा बहुत खुश है माशाल्लाह जी.
मरियम ने तो पिच भी सबमिट कर दिया. She has submitted the pitch as well.
जबरदस्त. ये देखा ना खुशी से. Ideally, you know, Kanchan साहबा, what I want? I want there should be zero attendance. Anybody who likes come, बस. क्या ख्याल है हुदा साहबा? अपनी मर्जी से होना यार, धक्के से बढ़ाने का. We have to do it only due to the IBA regulations. My point of view is, अपनी खुशी से आओ ना यार, बस दिल कर रहा है तो आओ, नहीं आया तो ना आओ. फिर ये तो आपसे प्यार करते हैं, मोहब्बत करते हैं, प्यार नहीं मोहब्बत करते हैं आपसे, कि वो जनाब कि आपको धक्के से सिखाना चाहते हैं. धक्के से कोई आप कुछ ना कुछ कानों में चले जाए. Okay, so that's it, and that's quickly I want to share like in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that is the Entrepreneurship Plus model, and then we will क्या किया जाए असगर साहब? What shall we do? Can we have 3-4 presentations?
Yes, sir. Why not?
As a test, and then the rest of the people can work, and so we will be having like 4 hours. So in 4 hours, please do something. Don't worry about the present. Do something which is coming into your heart, and present it before Dr. Tamara, and inshallah ta'ala you will be taken care of. So my dear students, this is called the Entrepreneurship Plus model, which we, okay, sorry. And this is very similar to what Dr. Tamara is talking about. So this model called the E plus model. The plus means beyond entrepreneurship, beyond making money. When we use the word plus, Arif, it means entrepreneurship, creativity, innovation, and beyond money. Beyond money. You know, my friends, what was happening when I was teaching a course in Germany many years ago. Let me open one slide and then we will come back. When I was teaching the course in Germany many years ago, in Aina, what happened was I was teaching to my students. So this is me with some beard, and I'm teaching, and on the board writing something. They're like German students here in the class. And one student came to me in the morning and said, "Sir, this is my dog, and I couldn't find a place to park him. Can I bring the dog in the class?" Arif साहब, हमने क्या कहा होगा जनाब? अगर कुत्ता भी बैठ जाएगा क्लास में तो मैंने क्या कहा होगा? So I said, yes, welcome, let the dog sit. So I have the honor that animals have sat in my class, in the entrepreneurship class. So the dog sat into the class, and I was talking about ideas and how do the ideas come from. And you see, Harvard Business School has written an article that entrepreneurs feel closer to God. Entrepreneurs feel closer to God. Now the Germans most of them are atheists actually. So when we talk even about an American article, you have blank faces in Germany. Because in Germany, there are a lot of, majority of them have become atheist. They used to be very good Christians 100 years ago, but over a period of time in Europe, religion went onto the back seat. In US, still there are a lot of people who are Christians. So our entrepreneurship theory says that ideas come from chance, random places, but they say that ideas come from luck. And maybe there's a supernatural force, Allah, God, and the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which creates ideas and gives people the ability to think. So when I was talking, an idea came to my mind, oh, what is the point of telling them, because they don't believe in God? So what happened was that I asked my German students, I was wondering how to explain this to them. I asked my German students, that's the gentleman. So out of the window, on this side, there was another window, and on the class, I could see, I could see cars parked here. I could see, trains passing by, German train going. So I asked my students, hey, students, who made this train? And who made this BMW car? They said scientists, engineers. So, and then there was a flower outside, trees, and there was the sun. And then I said, who made the sun, and who made the tree, and who made the flowers? You know, Mikhail, what their answer was? They said, sir, it is by chance. Anything which is natural, organic, a flower, a human being, a dog, a sun, a leaf, sea, all are made by chance. Anything like mobile, laptop, car, train, Airbus A380, the German class, the master's class was saying they are made by scientists, they are made by a designer, and the rest all is random. Mikhail Islam was born in a random manner. He's a random person. He is random. It just emerged. But when we talk about a mobile, they would say it was designed and made by an engineer. When they talk about my nose, my eyes, they say it was random. It was out of serendipity. It was luck. So I was wondering that how to explain that. And immediately I saw the dog. And the idea came to me. I said to them, my students, who made the dog? And once again, their reply was chance, luck. And then I am not that intelligent. And the idea came to me. I said, oh, if dog is made by chance, can you tell me which is more complicated? Is the car more complicated or a human being more complicated? Mikhail, can you tell me? Which is more complicated, more complex? Mikhail, which is more complex?
So human beings, obviously.
Dog, dog is more complex, or a car is easy to make a car, easy to make a dog?
So,
human being.
dog is a living being, so it's more complicated.
It's much, much more complicated. A dog is complicated than an A380 bus. It's much more complicated than an A380 Airbus, not to speak of a car. A dog can think, reflect, smell, take actions, artificial. It is full of intelligence. A dog is amazing. It has the ability to learn, respond, loyalty, integrity. Amazing. You see, if you look at the dog at Pearl Continental Karachi, you see he is given a red carpet where the dog sits and he checks every car. So here the idea came that if a dog is more complicated, why was it not made by, and you are saying it, attributing its complication to random. Is it fair as a machine? Is it fair to call a flower and a leaf and a tree to be by chance? If then you should also say the mobile is also by chance, and iPhone and laptops. So you're not ready to say them. Why are you saying this complicated piece that it is out of random? So my dear friends, here I don't have time today actually. Um, Let me quickly explain that. For example, if this is there's a big building in Karachi, HPL Tower. This is like 22-story building in Karachi. So Ahsan Rashid, if I say, Mikhail, are you here? Mikhail,
Yes,
are you
sir.
listening? Okay. आपकी आंखें बंद आ रही हैं मेरे ख्याल. Okay. Kanchana,
Yes,
Mariam,
sir.
have you
वो
seen
video
this?
lag कर रही होगी.
Mariam, have you seen this 22-story building in Karachi? HBL Tower? If I say to you that one fine morning, Mariam, when we got up, Nazarene, this HBL Tower got legs. It had shoes. It got legs and it had shoes, and the building started walking. It started walking, it came onto University Road in Karachi. It crossed Nipa Churangi, it crossed Hassan Square, it crossed Nipa, it came to this Abul Hassan Isfahani Road, it moved towards IBA, it came to Muskan, and the buildings kept on walking like human beings. It had legs and shoes, and 20-story building came and it stopped in front of IBA. So what will you say, Mariam, if I tell you the story? Mariam, I saw HBL building walking today. It started walking and came on the University Road and came to IBA. It's standing outside IBA. What would you say to me? I can't hear you. Can't hear you. आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी. क्या मसला हो गया? Would you believe in me, Nazarene or Rutba? Would you believe? I can't hear Mariam. I can't hear Nazarene. Would you believe in me that Dr. Shahid?
Yes, maybe. Yes, maybe that building has wheels. Someone made
Wheels.
some wheels. Yes, maybe.
So you will trust me out of respect, maybe, but you will be wondering in your mind that Dr. Shahid has gone crazy today. There may be some viral attack and he has lost his senses. Is it right? Difficult to believe, huh? Is it easy or difficult to believe? So if this is difficult to believe that, today morning it was like at 6 a.m. Strange thing happened in Karachi today at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. in Karachi, Rutba Panjwani, a very strange thing happened in Karachi. It was much stranger than HBL walking, but very few people know that actually. Very few people know what happened at 5:58. I think it was exact timing. I will have to find. Sania Jamil Sahaba, you're here today. You're enjoying, I hopefully. Jamil hai, pura naam bhul gaya mujhe. Okay. So, Arif Sahab, you know what happened at 5:58 something? What happened? Anything?
The sun rose.
Exactly. The sun rose. So, the rising of a sun is more complex, or the moving of a HBL tower, Aina? Which is more complex? Which is more difficult?
Excuse me, sir, can you please
Yeah?
repeat again?
You didn't get the point. Okay. So, Rudba Sahib, I hope you understand that sun is, I think, if I remember, 16 lakh, क्या कहेंगे, 1.6 million times bigger than the Earth, if I'm correct. Some near this figure. Sun is 1.6 million times bigger than the Earth, and that big body moved today. It moved. Kanchan Sunil Sahaba, the sun moved today. It set. And if HBL Tower moves, Geo Television and CNN and all these news channels would have been standing outside IBA to cover this story. ऐसा होगा ना रुतबा साहिबा? CNN आ जाएगा ना? CNN will come if HBL Tower comes to IBA. Will CNN come to see what happened today at IBA?
full media.
Ji? So there will come that strange thing happen. But my dear students, something much strange happens every day. Much strange things happen every evening, every night. निकाल समझ आ रही है आपको? So why are we not looking at it? So this is the point of the case with the Entrepreneurship Plus model, which we start with. That hey gentlemen, we are living in a world, so we need to have a sense of purpose in our life. Sense of purpose in our life and sense of wonder in our life. Why is the problem that moving of an HBL tower makes us wonder, but the moving of the sun does not make us wonder? Moving of the wind does not make us wonder. Mariam Abbas Sahaba, you know, if you go to Multan, you have on trees, you have mangoes. You see? Have you seen mangoes? So any, you know, in the Bible or in Quran, it is written in the scriptures that when people will go into paradise, and people will go to, there will be trees made of gold trees. And everything will be made of gold. And on the gold tree, you will find mangoes, and Mariam Abbas will be there, inshallah. And in paradise, in Jannat, she will go to near the mango tree, and she will pluck this mango and eat it. Out of a golden mango tree, there will be a mango which could be eaten. So when I say this to Mariam, on a mango, on a gold tree, you will get a mango. So is it strange or is it ordinary for you?
It is not strange for me.
It's strange. Huh? As a matter of belief, it's okay. But as a physical phenomenon, it's strange. But I asked my students, where is the mango coming out in this world? The mango is coming out of, Nazanin, if I cut the tree, what is this? Mango is coming out of wood. Grape is coming out of wood. Apple is coming out of wood. If something can come out of wood, then something can get out of gold. It's no problem. Get out of wood. Will it be difficult for something to come out of gold? I cut a tree. Do you find something? It's brown. So my dear students, this Entrepreneurship Plus model says we should have a high sense of purpose in our life and a sense of wonder. Everything which is happening around us, our relative, father, wind is blowing, sun is setting, and things are happening, we should take it as a sense of wonder. We should take it full with gratitude and thankfulness. I have teeth, I have hair, I have eyes, I have mom, I have grandma, I can move, I can sleep. These are all blessings. So this theory says once you have all this, then if you have values, values means humility, gratitude, parsimony, if you have this, and if you have effectual skills, bird in hand and all this, then it becomes easy to start a business which is environmentally, socially, and ethically sensitive. So this is the Uzair Entrepreneurship Plus model. It is very close to what Ma'am Tamarine is trying to say, but the only difference is that we talk about spirituality as well. We say that please look at the lives of Moses, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ibrahim as well. These were great people. Mary, look at the life of Maryam, Khadija, radiallahu ta'ala anha, and then we have Hajar. So these are great men and women. So it's important to look at their lives. These were icons. These people were full of Kanchan Sahaba. I think you're from Hindu religion, is it?
Yes.
You know, Ibrahim, if you Ibrahim, if I delete the I, what is the word remaining? You know, can you pronounce?
Raman.
So many scholars say that the Brahmins and the Hindus are the descendants of Abraham. So in a way, this is one theory. I don't know. We don't know exactly. So in a way, we are all cousins. Kanchan Sahiba, you are my cousin. You know that, because your grandfather and my grandfather were brothers. So in this perspective, I think even in Hindu literature, if you try to find out the truest literature, you will find amazing values inside, amazing humanistic values. And all these roots are coming from prophets. So that's why this model says if you have a sense of purpose, sense of wonder, if you have good values, effectuation theory combined together, it becomes easy to do something very good in this life. That's it from my side. It takes me 4 hours to explain this. Ji Asghar.
Today is Jummah as well, so we need to close the
Yes,
session.
exactly.
And
So I think we have 5 minutes. 5
yeah,
minutes, and anybody who can. That's why I finished early. तो जनाब असगर साहब बताएं क्या करना है, एक प्रेजेंटेशन करते हैं.
so we have Mariam Abbas submitted this presentation, so she can go
या
ahead.
मरियम मुकनुती, और मरियम थी बड़ी डरने वाली खुदा से. मरियम साहबा, can you please do a quick one, 3 minutes?
No.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to start out with a simple question: that how many times a week do you all visit a mall, and how often do you visit the food court when you visit a mall? Like, can anyone answer me?
Once in a month.
And
Maybe like
whenever
once
you visit,
in 2 months.
so whenever you visit a mall, do you also visit the food court as well?
Always.
Always.
So basically, when we asked from people in a survey, like the survey we did, so 73% of the people said that they visit a food court whenever they visit a mall. So that means that you spend some of your time there as well. So, and when you go to a food court, you spend some time also on thinking about what to order. You roam around and look at all the food outlets, and then just go at every food outlet and pick out the menu, and then sit down and then decide that what you actually want to buy. So the problem we identified as customers was that customers had to wait a long time before they order something. For example, whenever I visit, let's take an example of Lucky One Mall, which is already very crowded whenever I visit that. So, for example, I usually go to McDonald's, and whenever I go there, there's a long line and waiting, and there's a shortage of staff, and they're not correctly responding to all the customers. So the hassle of roaming around to each outlet and picking up menu cards to find a deal that is within a customer's budget. And secondly, a lot of food brands also lose on their prospect customers when they're not able to, correctly answer their queries. So our solution, my solution was basically of a food QR app that works in a way that when a user scans the QR code from the table where he's sitting, like we'll be having QR codes placed on malls or on tables. So the customer, can only come and sit down and scan the QR code, and you will be able to see all the menus and deals of all the food outlets in mall. And he has all that information on his mobile phone. So it saves his time of roaming around and standing in lines and ordering his food. So as such, there is no direct competitor for my idea because there is no such application that exists in Pakistan right now. Like we have Food Panda as well, but Food Panda is basically delivering it across Pakistan. No application caters to food courts in Pakistan. So also when
after Dr. Tamara's session, when I thought that what is the sustainability factor here, so I came to realize it when we were doing our survey. We asked some of the food outlets that does any of your food get wasted because of this? Because people order and then they see there's a long line. Sometimes they just go away, or because they are preparing food in bulk as well. So this application will cater to that as well, that they will only make a limited amount of food that is ordering. So in my opinion, it will solve customers problem, it will save their time, and it will also save food as well, and the and all that mehnat jo kehte hain usko, jo the workers are putting in to prepare that food. So say that they will be saving resources as well. So that is my idea.
Mariam, it was supposed to be 90-second pitch.
माशाल्लाह जबरदस्त जनाब, बहुत शुक्रिया मरियम साहबा, अमेजिंग, वेरी वेल आर्टिकुलेटेड, और बहुत यू आर वन ऑफ माय बेस्ट स्टूडेंट्स माशाल्लाह। आगे जनाब, नेक्स्ट जनाब आवाज साहबा। नीमी कौन करना? नीमी साहबा। नीमी is not my student, she is my team member, but I asked her to do it. She's an MBA from IBA, so Nimi साहबा, you have to raise the bar. आपने मरियम साहबा आपने ओ लेवल किया हुआ है, ए लेवल किया हुआ है?
Sir, O level and then intermediate.
Okay, और IBA के किस सेमेस्टर में, CS में?
Sir, 8th semester, last है, खत्म है।
खत्म हो गया, प्रोजेक्ट हो गया फाइनल?
सर यही फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट है।
कौन सा है आपका फाइनल ईयर प्रोजेक्ट? कोर्स लेना है एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप?
यही जो आइडिया मैंने बताया है।
अच्छा ओके, माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह।